welcome back to my channel. If you're new, you're welcome. I hope you all are doing well. So in today's video, I'm going to be making this beautiful braided wig using all my leftover braiding hair. So I really hope you guys have been saving all your leftover braiding hair because we are about to put them into a good use. Okay, with that said, let's go straight into the video. Okay, so moving on to the wig cap, I have a separate video showing you guys how to make your own wig cap from scratch. So I'll put the link in the description box down below, and also I'll put the more details on everything I use in this video in the description box down below, like the tools and everything, the details, the list will be in the description box down below, so be sure to check that out. Okay, so moving on, once you have your wig cap, the next step, you want to take your concealer or a fabric marker and go ahead and make a line for the box braid. So this will serve as a guideline, so that way you don't go over the line for your box braid. So give you like a straight line for the box braid. So you want to do the same thing on the lace frontal. So we want to create a hairline. So I went ahead and make a center line and also a side line for the braid design I'm going for. So I want like a center part and a side part. So all right, so here are the leftover braiding hair. I know, a lot of crazy colors, crazy colors, but we're gonna put them to a good use. Okay, so for the back section for the box braid, I went ahead and used the purple colors, the dark purple color for the box braid. So I'm just trying to figure out a way that I can use all the color without it looking too crazy. So for the box braid part, you want to go ahead and take the amount of hair you need for each box braid. So out of that amount of hair, you want to take a little amount from that. So you want to go ahead and do a single crochet right there from the same hair. So just like that, go ahead and do a single crochet. Okay, so using the rest of the hair, you want to go ahead and do your box braid. So when you're doing your box braid, you want to make sure that the next one you place on top falls in between the space on the bottom, so that will help to give you more of a fuller looking box braid without having to do too much. So that way you don't want the back of the wig to be heavier than the front, so you kind of want to space them out a bit. Okay. Okay, so moving on to the crochet hook, you're gonna need a really tiny crochet hook for the lace part of the wig, and this is a 3-set crochet hook, and I'm using the smallest one out of the set. So, and also if you guys want this exact one, I'm gonna put a link in the description box down below. So you need the smallest one out of the set. Okay, so moving on to the hair, I have more of the blue hair, so I figure I will use that for the roots and also use that to create the ombre effect. So I just went ahead and cut that into 4 sections and went ahead and stretch it out for extra length. Okay, so to start, you want to take your crochet hook, pass it through the lace. So next you want to hook 2 strands of the braiding hair, and next you want to go ahead and pass it through the lace. So using the crochet hook, you want to hook the hair and pass it through the loop just like that. So you want to go ahead and crochet on a straight line from the ear down to the front of the lace. So you want to make sure to have a bottom line and a top line just like this. So once you have your straight line, the next step is to go ahead and fill in the space. So doing the same thing, take your crochet hook, pass it through the lace, then next hook 2 strands of the braiding hair, pass it through the lace, hook the hair, pass it through the loop, just like that. Okay, so once you're done with that session, you want to go ahead and comb it. So after that, you want to go ahead and create a line for the first braid. Okay, just making sure the line is neat on the front, just like that. So next, you want to go ahead and do a single knot crochet from the front down to the back, so making sure to use a really tiny amount of hair. Okay, so you want to do a single crochet starting from the front close to the hair you've already crocheted down and all the way to the back, just like that. So once you have that, the next step is to go ahead and begin braiding. So for me, I'm starting with a tiny amount of hair and I'm going ahead to braid the hair. So we're going to be doing the feed in braids. So you're going to be starting with a little amount of hair and then increase the amount of hair you add to the braid as you braid along. Okay. So I'm just going to let you guys watch this and I'll be back when it's time to explain a little bit more. Okay, so moving on to the next braid, you want to go ahead and do the same thing. So you want to start by doing a single knot crochet, starting from the front all the way to the back of the cap, so to where you want your feed in braids to end. And also making sure to use a really tiny amount, and also making sure to crochet the hair close to the braid you already have, so that way when you're done braiding this very one, it will fill in the space in between the other braids. Okay, in between the other braid, yeah. So right here, I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys one more time. You want to start with a tiny amount of hair, and next you want to go ahead and start braiding. And also remember, you have to increase the amount of hair you add to it as you braid along. Okay, so I went ahead and braid the rest of this session off camera. So this is how this very session is looking. Okay, but don't worry, I'm gonna show you how I did the ombre braids in the next clip. Okay, so I didn't really like the way the white hair color was looking, so I end up taking that down and replacing it with the color 27. So that is how it's looking. Prefer the color 27. So it's the white hair color was looking a bit too crazy for my liking, so I had to just take that down. Okay, so this is the other side. Beautiful. Okay, so moving on to the next step and also doing the same thing. You want to start by crocheting on a straight line. So also doing the same thing, you want to pass the crochet hook through the lace and hook two strands of the braiding hair, pass it through the lace. Using the crochet hook, hook the hair and pass it through the loop, just like that. So you want to do crochet on a straight line to where you want your center part to stop. So once you have that, you want to go ahead and flip that very side over, so that way you can work on the bottom part. So doing the same thing, you want to crochet on a straight line to have that guideline, so you have a straight line on the top and also on the bottom before going ahead to fill in the space. Okay. All right, so I went ahead and did that off camera. So right here, I'm just going ahead to fill in the space, doing the same thing. Pass the crochet hook through the lace, hook 2 strands of hair and pass it through the lace, then pass it through the loop to secure it in place. All right, again, pass the crochet hook through the lace, hook 2 strands of braiding hair, hook the hair and pass it through the loop. All right, just like that. You continue doing that until you're done filling in the space. Okay. Okay, so the reason why you need to crochet on a straight line before going ahead to fill in the space is to help to guide and also to ensure that you have a straight and neat line for your middle part or your side parts. As you can see in this video, you see the line is very neat and there's no hair going across. So the first line you crochet kind of serve as a guideline so that way you don't go over it. Okay. So moving on to the next step, I'm going to go ahead and create a session for a single braid. So I'm just showing you guys the front. Okay, so right here, I'm going ahead to make a session for single braids. Okay, so moving on to the ombre braid. So once you get to where you want your ombre braid to start, you want to switch from the dark hair color to the light hair color, and also making sure to use a tiny amount of hair, and also making sure to crochet the hair, do the single crochet close to the braid you already have. Okay, so once that is done, the next step is to go ahead and braid that very section. And also doing the same thing, you want to start with a little amount of hair and then increase the amount you add to the braid as you braid along. So once you get to the first single braid, you want to take that and add that to the feed in braid. So at this point, you want to stop adding braiding hair. So you want to replace the braiding hair with the single braid. Okay. So once you add all the single braid, then you can continue adding as braiding hair. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So once you braid to where the first single braid is, you want to take that and add it to the braid and stop adding braiding hair at that point. So once you add all the single braids to the braid, then you can go back to adding the braiding hair extension. So, and also right here, so once you get to where the colored hair starts, you want to switch from the dark hair color to adding the light hair color. And also making sure to rotate the dark hair color under the light hair color. So that will help to hide it, to also to ensure that you have that ombre looking effect. So again, make sure to rotate the dark hair color under the light hair color, just like that. So that will give you the perfect ombre transition. Okay, so you want to repeat the same thing on the next braid. So you want to start using the colored hair from where you want your ombre braid to start, and also making sure to crochet it close to the braid you already have. Okay, so that will help to fill in the gap. So, and again, so once you braid to where you want your ombre braid to start, you want to switch from the dark hair color to the light hair color. So you want to switch from adding dark hair color to adding the light hair color you're using for the ombre effect. Okay, also remember, so you want to start with a tiny amount of hair and increase the amount of hair you add to it as you braid along. And again, doing the same thing, you want to make sure to rotate the dark hair color under the bright or the light hair color. Okay, just like that until you're ready to where you want your feeding braid to stop. Okay, so moving on to the last braid, I went ahead and did 3 single braid, which I'm going to be adding to this very last feeding braid I'm about to do. Okay, and again, you want to start with a tiny amount of hair and increase the amount of hair you add to the braid as you braid along. And doing the same thing, once you add in the single braid, you want to stop adding braiding hair extension until you're done adding all the single braid. Then you can go back to adding the braiding hair extension. And again, so once you braid to where you want your ombre braid to start, you want to switch from the dark hair color to the light hair color. And also doing the same thing, you want to rotate the dark hair color under the light hair color. So that will help to give you the smooth transition from the dark hair color to the light hair color. You will have the perfect ombre effect feeding braids, as you can see right here. I love it. Okay, we are almost done. So for the next step, we're going to be creating the baby hair. So to do that, you want to take the crochet hook, pass it through the lace. So next you want to hook one strand of the braiding hair, pass it through the lace and hook it again, pass it through the loop to secure it in place. So we're going to be creating the baby hair only using one strand of hair, crocheting one strand of hair. And also you want to make sure to space it out, okay, so that way you don't have one spot that is crowded and the rest are just, you know, spaced out. So you want to make sure to space it out evenly. Okay, remember, one strand of hair for the to create the baby hair. Okay, so this is how the wig is looking after adding in the baby hair from ear to ear, and yep, that is how it's looking. So once you're done creating the baby hair, so the next step is to dip the tip of the braid into hot water. So be careful when you're doing this, don't burn yourself. So you want to dip the tip of the braid into hot water and then dry off the excess water. So once that is done, you want to go ahead and do some trimming if needed. Okay, all right guys, so this is the final result of the beautiful DIY braided wig. As you can see, the different colors and the ombre effect is beautiful. I love it. So this is what you can create using your leftover braiding hair. We have come to the end of this video. I hope you find this video helpful. If you do, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And also, if you're new to my channel, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below. If you already subscribed, thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you so much for tuning in today, and I'll see you guys in my next one.